My name is Robert Emery and I'm the founder of Ted's List, and today we're talking about finger exercises for the guitar. It doesn't matter if it's an acoustic guitar, if it's an electric guitar, you still need to do your exercises. And who better to tell us all about it than Lewis Turner. Lewis is an amazing guitarist. He's worked with Mark Knopfler from Dire Straits. He's worked on countless West End shows including The Lion King, Bat Out of Hell and Mamma Mia. So here we go, finger exercises for guitar.
Hi guys, welcome to this video about finger exercises for guitar. So in this one I'm going to show you some on electric guitar, and this is aimed once again at our beginners. So I get a lot of beginner students to do this pretty much in lesson 1 actually. So what we want to aim for right at the very start of playing the guitar, right at the start of your journey, is finger independence with your left hand. So what I mean by that is we don't want to have, I see a lot of younger players that kind of play things with one finger. So you get very, good at playing with the first finger, but obviously that's going to limit you further down the line. So there's absolutely no reason when you're starting out why you can't develop strength in each finger, as they're all starting from the beginning, and then we can iron this out straight away. So one of the things I get students to do is to do this chromatic, which is an overcomplicated word for one note after the other, exercise going up the fretboard. So when I say up, I mean as the notes get higher. Yeah. So I'm taking the high E string here, and I'm just going to play 4 notes starting at the 1st fret. So 1st fret, 2nd fret, 3rd fret, 4th fret. And you might want to check out the other video we've done about finger position, hand position for this. That'll help you as well. And then I'm just going to go 1 fret at a time. So then the 2nd fret, 4 notes again, 3rd fret, so on and so forth. So you're just traveling up the fretboard 1 fret at a time. And we just want to do it slowly and methodically. In terms of your right hand, it doesn't really matter at this stage what you're doing with it in terms of whether you're doing all down picks, down towards the floor. In fact, I would normally encourage that to begin with, or all up picks towards your face. Or if you've been playing for a while, you might want to start delving into the world of alternate picking, which is where we do down and up picks, one after the other. So down, up, down, up. And that's really good for developing between the 2 hand synchronization. So down, up. And so on. So I normally get players to do it all the way up to the 12th fret, which for most guitars is the one with 2 dots, because that's where our octave starts again. And then I always think it's really important as well that we practice descending, going back down, because this requires a little bit more effort with the left hand, because as we descend, in order for this note to be super clear, this finger's really got to lift off, and so on and so forth. Going up, we can be slightly lazy. Those fingers can stay down, but descending, they've got to move away. So just 1 fret at a time. Nice and slowly, yeah? Moving back down the fretboard. Once you've mastered that, you can then move on to covering this way. So again, super simple, just 4 notes on every string. So the same thing on the B string, G, D, A, and E. And what you'll notice is, the reason I do this is because as you come further this way, it requires you to arch your hand round. So the stretch is developing as you come this way, especially once you get to the lowest strings. You're developing that stretch as you come this way. And then coming back, descending. So on and so forth. And if you're developing this alternate picking technique, which I would strongly recommend as well, then this is really good practice for crossing over strings. So that's really good development of starting with your left hand technique, your fretting hand technique. And you can know Obviously they're not super musical, but we're just trying to develop a technique grounding for your left hand to get used to this movement, okay? We're not writing a devastating musical piece here, okay? It's just to practice moving your fingers around, essentially, because it's going to be a new thing for your hand to do. So a little bit of time spent on this at the start is really good for a warm-up, so you can kill two birds with one stone, you know? You're doing a warm-up, you're doing a technique exercise all in one hit, job done. Onto the practicing the musical stuff. And then you can be, you know, you can do whatever you want with it. So take the same concept, 4 notes, move them anywhere. You know, just a chromatic. Eventually you'll learn a chromatic scale, which is essentially what we've been playing there. So you can develop it in any way you like. Okay, finger exercises for acoustic guitar. So we're going to start, if you saw the electric guitar one, with the similar idea here. So to begin with, doesn't matter what guitar you're learning on, the first exercise I get most students to do is the same thing. So just to recap, but this time on the acoustic guitar, we're looking at doing 4 notes on one string, in this case the E string, gradually travelling up, so as the notes get higher, up the fretboard 1 fret at a time. Yeah, to develop your left hand independence. And then once we get to the 12th fret, descending back down, which, as I mentioned before, is trickier. So we always practice descending because you have to really be mindful of the next note coming up and lift your fingers. I know it sounds obvious, but... Now the other thing we can add in here as we're playing acoustic guitar is different methods of actually playing the note, okay? So if you're starting out, then a lot of players will tend to use just their thumb to begin with, which is fine, because we're just developing the idea of actually getting some notes out of this thing. So you can just use your thumb on your right hand to play this. That's absolutely fine. And we can use a pick, like I played the first demonstration with when I first played it. And this isn't anything to do with classical guitar, it's just developing independence on your right hand this time. You can use your fingers, so we can play the same exercise but using, say, just one finger. Or developing the independence between the 2 fingers. So you can kill a lot of birds with one stone with this particular exercise. You know, we're doing left hand technique, and then on acoustic guitar, you can do it electric as well. There's different ways of actually physically picking the note, using a pick, using your thumb, or using your fingers. And then we can do this, as we did in the other video, across strings as well. So I might use my thumb for the lowest notes, and then say use my finger for the higher notes. Okay, and so that's just a chromatic, one note after the other exercise anyone can do when they're first starting out, just to develop some sort of dexterity and strength on the fingers. The important thing to remember is that you're really using each of the fingers, so not just one finger. You know, your little finger's going to feel tough at first because it's the weakest, but we want to develop the same strength throughout all 4 fingers, so don't shy away from it. And the other thing I want to mention now, I'm going to get rid of the pick, is on acoustic guitar, you know, we can start to develop and think about your right hand technique as well. So depending on how far you've been playing, we can look at some different things you can do. So here's some basic right hand techniques that you can start to practice. So I'm just going to play the low E string with my thumb, and then I'm going to use these 3 fingers, my first, second and third fingers. First finger's on the G, second finger's on the B, the third finger's on the E, and I'm just going to play those individually, one after the other. But this time I'm going to do thumb and then those fingers one after the other, and then back down. There's a famous song in there somewhere. Anyway, won't go down that route. But so we're looking at developing, like I said, the independence between those fingers. So just doing that. Trying to make it as smooth as possible. And you can practice, as we did with this hand, doing ascending and descending. I could do it backwards. I could alternate the bass note, so I can go from the E to the A. I could be super creative and hold down a chord and do it. So I could hold down an E minor chord here. I could change chord. You know, once you have the basic mechanics, so in this case, the thumb and finger thing, then you can start to be creative and make up your own exercises with it once you know a few chords, etc. So there's some finger exercises on acoustic guitar to start off with, or if you've been playing for a little while longer, some slightly more advanced ones for the right hand. So chromatic exercises with the left hand, ascending and descending, and crossing the 6 strings. And then we have arpeggiating, the single notes, with the right hand using your thumb and 3 fingers. So that's different techniques for the acoustic guitars. Hope you enjoyed that and found that really useful. If you enjoyed that video and you'd like to see more, please comment, like and subscribe.